Hey guys, this is IntroducingEmy and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one was sent to me anonymously, so I'm just gonna get started on it, but here you go. The first thing I wanted to point out was that this window is really integral to how I will go about doing the anatomy, and I tried to figure out what the perspective was on it, and I was having a lot of problems. So I was just doing perspective lines and kind of trying to feel it out, and I realized I was having so many problems that I went and rendered a window in Google SketchUp with regular, 3-point perspective and all that, and I brought it in and it still wasn't lining up no matter how I tried to kind of get, because this felt sort of right, like the way they have it done. So I was trying everything, and then I realized it's in 2-point perspective. So yeah, so I put the modeled window over here so you can kind of see it. It's light, but it's this purpley blue color. Now, I will just try to fit her in here as best I can. I'm not, I guess technically, having something drawn in in 3-point perspective, like a body, would be different than drawing it out in 2-point, but I will try to make this happen here. So what I'm doing is just kind of blocking out some shapes, and I'm using a lot of straights and curves, just like you would in clay, I guess, just trying to carve out some shapes here. I can already tell you that in the original, I know she's supposed to be in perspective, I get that, but it's really deeply forced perspective. I don't know, something's, like her head to her butt size, even in perspectives, it doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna do the best I can here. Yeah. No, I'm just, sorry, I'm thinking, I'm not yeah, no, I can't do this. What else did I want to say here about this? So I will mention that this must be a huge ass window. I had so much trouble trying to find a window that she could fit in, on Google or on SketchUp Warehouse. I guess it's not technically Google anymore. On the warehouse, it tells you the sizes of the windows and stuff. And I mean, I was just curious. So I was looking up average sizes of double hung windows, which is what this is. I couldn't find one that was this big. So I don't know if this is just a fantastical kind of setting, but well, I can't really draw off the edge, so I'll just kind of do the best I can. So yeah, let's take this upper part here. This would be her her breastaline area. And like her belly. Just sort of let's make that a little bigger to try to hit this in a similar fashion. So I have a little bit of a tendency to make my heads and my eyes and all that just a teeny bit bigger. You know what, GeForce, you're gonna have to wait. It wants me to install a new driver. It's probably not a great idea to install a new driver while I'm recording something. But anyway, I tend to make my drawings a little bit, or my heads and eyes and stuff just slightly bigger than probably what is actually going on, but I kind of think, like, I usually try to refrain from doing that too much, but like on your red lines, but I think this one kind of calls for it a little bit, so we shall see. Also, be careful when you're drawing a character, especially a woman, because I see this more with girls than I do with guys. When you're doing a character that's like bent and like sitting, don't do this. Like, don't take a bite out of her side. Even on women, that's not going to be overly curvy when they're sitting. Or curving inward, I should say. It's still going to be curvy, it's just that usually in a different direction there. So, just remember I'm drawing through the figure. That's where her belly button would be. This is where her butt connects. That's like her butt cheek right there, this little wedge, curved wedge shaped thing. I don't know what you call this kind of a shape. I guess it's like a teardrop, like a big fat teardrop. I'm just thinking here. Let me get a different eraser. Oh shoot, I wanted to try something with this red line. It might be a little too late for that because I've already done quite a bit, but I wanted to try I guess I should pick like green or something. I wanted to try bringing, this is more for like me, I guess. This isn't so much for you, but maybe you guys would find it helpful. So what I wanted to do was, where's my brush options? I wanted to go to color dynamics, and I wanted to fade into how do you do it? Oh, there's a way you can do it where you like I guess it would have to be like 1, 2, 3, pop, pop, pop. Okay, 99999. That'll work. And like over time have it change color so that you kind of like I'm working from the front to the back like on my sketches, so you guys could kind of see like as I build up. But the problem is as soon as I lift off it goes back to green and I do pick my pen up, so never mind, it was a dream I guess. Maybe there's a way I can figure it out later, but for now we'll just stick to what we know I guess. Anyway, sorry for that little interlude. That didn't like save that, did it? No. That's not what I want. I want brush. No. Turn color dynamics off. Okay. I just feel like I'm really having to cram this foot in over here. But unless her leg was like hanging out the window, I just don't know any other way to do this. Because like having her leg up like this sort of implies that there wasn't enough room for her to have her leg down. And see, the reason I put this line here was because I wanted to see like how far out I could bring this foot. But now this leg is sort of crossing into the path of that one. Like, so if she put this foot down, it would come down here. So this to here. Yeah. I would recommend oh, you know what I could do? Maybe I could have her pull the leg up to her chest. That's a pretty uncomfortable position, though, I would imagine. Hold on, let me get all this sketch garbage out of there. I think her knee would be like right about there. Yeah, that's still, you know, if you maybe like put her, if you had her leg like way back against her knee and had this foot like down there doing something similar, you might just be able to cram it in here. But she is quite crammed. So I know some people live by the school of thought that like if a drawing is meant to be intended for the male gaze or female gaze, if you're like me, uh, then you can kind of skirt around good anatomy as long as it still like echoes in as sexual or sensual or whatever you're going for. But if you're like me and the butt and the angle of the legs is just not right, then no, you can't do it. Have to fix it. Like I can't look at sexy drawings because like if I see like a foot on backwards or like a or like fingers aren't in the right positions or like just general anatomy is off, I'm like kind of a butt about it. Oh, the time I've spent learning anatomy by fixing bad Dojin art and things like that. You know, oh my god, I was reading one where a guy's foot was on backwards. Like he literally had two left feet or two right feet. Sigh, listen to me sighing. Oh, my porn is drawn not as well as other porn. Um, yeah. Let's go with that. I'm gonna put a filter over her leg, just so that we can still see through it, but that we're not being yeah, you know, this is like kind of as best as I can get it, without completely like changing everything, which is kind of like, how did multiply get turned off there? I don't know. So the leg has been filtered. God, this still, oh man. I'm not happy about this leg. Yeah, I think that looks okay. I think it actually kind of looks cute in a way, like she's sort of like turning, whenever like characters sort of have their feet turned to the inside, that's sort of like an artistic way to say like they're shy, you know? I actually remember I took a health class where we had to learn, I don't know why, I lived in a really strange little community, but we learned that that's like an actual way to read somebody's body language is if their feet are turned in. And that's a little bit of a myth. Like people don't turn their feet dramatically inward. Like we exaggerate it in art to show it, but to show that shyness. But I remember thinking growing up, like, people don't turn their feet that far in, do they? So here's a little thing. The filter kind of covers it, so let me. Okay. So where the leg connects to the butt is not like a. This is really bothering me. Okay, you know what? Just release that. Sorry, I had a clippy mask on. Anyway, so where the leg connects to the butt, it's not just like this, usually. Like, you're not going to get somebody who just has a butt that goes to a thigh, like a smooth transition. Especially if they're bending, there's always going to, like, bending the leg in one way or the other. There's kind of like a connection between the butt and the thigh. And it's different on everybody, like how much you want to like accentuate that. Usually if they're pushing the leg backwards, you're going to get a much bigger bubble on the butt and a bigger crease there. And then if they go outward, you're not going to get as much usually. It's not 100%, but you know, you'll kind of feel it out for like when you're drawing characters and the weight of their butts and everything. So yeah, so that's a good way to sort of like indicate directionally like which way legs and things are flexing around and things like that. So yeah, yeah. Delete that. Just draw that shoulder. Down to the armpit. Elbow meets are in here. And it looks like you're bending the elbow there, but I'm not sure. Like that, maybe? Because that would account for the hand, or that, you know, that the arm being mostly covered there. Because if it was straight, I think it would. I'm not sure, actually. Would you bend your arm at the like if this were you and you were resting your filter, I need to filter this arm area. It's confusing me. By the way, This is how I build up my sketches a lot of time. Like if you pretend that the drawing that was sent to me was like my very first rough sketch, this is how I go about finishing it. Like I just keep building up layers of let's give her some big ol' honkin' cleave while we're at it. Okay, but this is how I build it up. I like filter off stuff so I can see through it and kind of hem and haw, because like once I get the sketch done, it's pretty downhill from there. I don't know, you could even lay her hand against her, I think she could reach it. She seems pretty flexible. You could do that, maybe. I might be changing your idea a little bit too much here. Oh, it was just a thought. But I think pretty much any way you run it, the hand, you wouldn't be able to see the, like, you wouldn't be able to see the hand from this direction. Like, you wouldn't be able to see all the fingers, like, head on like that. I think you would only ever be able to see the back of the hand. So something like that. I think that would... It's kind of clever to hide the joints of the elbow there, but it could cause issues. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel totally right to me. In fact, let me try bending this. That feels a little better, just getting it up a little higher. Okay, so we'll quit hemming and hawing around with that. And let's do the face real quick. And like usual, I'm pretty much just going to go over the original face and then kind of move it where it needs to be. I think I've discovered that that's a pretty good method. So I know she's supposed to be looking up. So I've kind of gotten in the habit lately of drawing the temple going down to the outer orbital sockets. This is where the eyeball would sit inside the skull. And just drawing sort of like the curve of the cheekbone. Just to sort of help me like lay everything out. I just wanted you to know what this kind of shape was, that you didn't think I was like, I don't know, putting like a weird mask on her or something. So remember, top of the eyebrow, bottom of the nose, or just like around. Sometimes I see people use like sort of this area of the guideline. It's up to you. Some people have really long ears, like the earlobes connect to the jaw, like way down there. My grandma's like that. So, let your heart be your guide. Give her an earring for fun. You can't even see it in the original drawing. Also, I usually color the top lip dark when I'm sketching, just so I can remember that it's there. Because sometimes I'll just like bypass it, but I don't always do that. Some of my characters don't have really pronounced upper lips, unless they're like in a certain perspective, and you can kind of see that lip, like this angle, you can sort of see up under, but that's just like a little thing I do that's not supposed to like reflect her lipstick color or anything like that. So I am getting a teeny bit lazy on the face perspective here. You could probably push this eye up a little deeper and higher to sort of imply that she's, yeah, I think I might set that up higher. There we go. I think that's a little better to sort of show that we're sort of like looking up just slightly at her. that's like the bottom of her jaw. Make sure that little bit of the eyebrow that you can see there on the other side is down lower. Okie dokie. I think that's pretty good. So let me just get some of this out of here. Oh, I was like, why is that not working? That's my eraser, that's why. So it's a little easier to see her face there. I think that's the only thing that needed. The jaw was sort of off a little bit there from what I had originally sketched. Okay, and then hair, you know, we've done hair a lot. Make it green hair. I need to make her nose more pointy. She is looking too much like one of my characters. But if it helps you sort of do the hair like in these big like chunks or like big sweeps of hair, if you think it'll help you sort of feel this, you know, feel her out better, like feel these shapes. I also like, I kind of do these weird like planes to make sure that everything feels dynamic from one angle to the next. Yeah, let me point up her schnoz a little more. She feels too much like one of my characters with that little teeny rounded nose thing. Even her eye sort of reads more like one of my characters. Ah, I'm sorry. It's so hard to break away from yourself. It sounds so deep. That terrible thumb. Oh well. It's the implication. I'm implying the thumb, guys. I would actually... I'm going to push her over slightly because we changed. To make sure that her... See this from here to here? That's like where her butt can sit. So we gotta push her in. Get in there. But now what ends up happening is... This is off. I could roll her backwards more. That might Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. And then I'm gonna make her a little smaller so that maybe her face matches. I usually try to stick, keep it in line with something on the original, but we are pretty far off from the original now. Sorry. And let me get rid of some of the noise that's inside this. So yeah, now that I'm looking at it, you could probably see more of like the underside of her foot if it was like this. Remember, pinkies are on the outside, so make sure you start at the pinky toe and then work in. So yeah, it would probably be more like that. But, I mean, she's still got her foot on the window, so I think that's the important part. Let me step back a little bit here. Gosh, I am just not feeling this for some reason. Like that. I mean, I like it actually, but I keep making her bigger and smaller to try to fit her in here correctly. It is a tight space, man. I commend you for attempting something like this because it is a tight space. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. I wasn't trying to be sarcastic, but it came off like, oh yeah, this is nice, great. No, this is cool because now you can kind of see her hair better. It's not like touching the inside anymore. We still don't really know where her other arm is, but if I could make a recommendation, I might have her fingers like resting on this leg, which might make this pose seem more natural, like she's kind of holding her other leg there, like she helped it up or something like that. So something like that, I mean, I'm being pretty rough here, but and if you did, no, you wouldn't be able to see it any other way. So yeah, just so that like there's some hint that her other arm is in the picture, unless it's supposed to be out the window or something like that. And I didn't know, but I tried. So um I am just gonna put a background on this, but not so I can see it a little easier. Yeah, sorry this one ran a little long today. I know a lot of folks don't mind if it runs long, but I feel the need to apologize in case I've like chewed up a lot of your time. So yeah, those are my recommendations to fixing this or getting it into a better place. This leg now, of course, this leg feels like a little strange. Like compared to the other one, like the knee is kind of in a weird place. I think like it's not aligned correctly, maybe. Yeah, this is better now that I've got a color in the background that I can see it. So I would recommend maybe moving this up more. That way the knee would fall like right here, I think, a little more. Yeah, in fact, you'd probably be able to see a little bit of the leg, like right there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be done with this one. I think. Was there anything else I wanted to go over? You know what? I will go over one more thing. I will go over shading real quick. This is... I'm going to try to make this not complicated, so hold on to your hats. Let's see here. Okay, good. So this line right here implies that that's the angle of our light, because this is a straight thing, like an object in front of her face. She's really close to it. Bam, that's our angle. So I will use that as a guide. So I think like so generally when I'm shading, I don't get to I try to stick mostly to the angle that the light's coming in. But here's a big but. If it makes their face or their hand read strangely, or like important parts of the body that I feel like folks need to be looking at, I will go against my lighting guide. So this leg is going to cast a shadow over this one and, follow our angles here. I'm doing this really fast. I'm not like over analyzing this like at all. I'm just trying to get some shadows down so we can kind of get a feel for what this would all look like. Also, he said that he only had access to like hard shading or kind of cell shading, so I didn't want to do soft shading and then have him be like, well, I mean, the principle would still pretty much be the same, but technically it might make things a little more challenging. So remember, her knee is up here, so it's going to cast a shadow. And actually, her whole face would probably... Yeah, I would say something like that, maybe. I guess you're not even supposed to see her ear. I kind of compensated for the ear I added. I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done it. He was just a boy. I like that movie, Sling Blade. It's a good movie. So then we can add a third color, I guess, because you had a... Yeah, you have like two-tone thing going on. So I guess this will be like another even darker shadow that we can use to sort of break up some planes here. Now, I don't like to do it like this, but I'm trying to think of a way to make it work for you. What I like to do is have my darkest color in the middle, and then use, like, if I'm only going to do 3 tones, which is something I do for a lot of my comics just to save time. But if I was doing 3 tones like this, what I would do is actually have it go light, dark, and then like some kind of a backlight. Also, I should say that these are not the final shadow colors. These are just to get something down so I can see it. You can always change these things, especially if you're using a digital art program, which the original was done in a digital art. I forget what it was, like Sketchbook or something. I don't know if you can do like color too much alteration. I think I've used Sketchbook like for all of 10 seconds, but okay, this is really bugging me. But yeah, you could use this just to kind of like emphasize little like deep dark areas, or like add extra shading in the hair, which I attempted to do and kind of bunged it up. Yeah, something like that I think would be good. But yeah, normally I would do kind of like, that might actually be better, just like completely filled with like a few highlights for wrinkles or something. No, because like that other color is there, isn't it? Or that other leg is there, so it would cast like a shadow the whole way down, so forget me, I guess. Forget what I'm saying. Um, but so I would also recommend staying away from like white as a light source because it sort of forces your hand into a grayscale for your shading. So, you know, if this was like, I have the groaniest dog, by the way. She's sitting over there just groaning her little heart out like, oh. Trying to get this into a yellow that I like. I don't know. Something like that. And then you can like tone your shadows to be more, you know, like if you're outside, I tend to shoot for blues and purples for shadows, but I try to really pump up the contrast. I like really contrasty, bright, colorful shadows, and then what I would do is in the highlight, that's where I would stick the yellow. I guess it'd be more like that for your highlight. And I guess then that would make this lighter-ish. Something like that. It's hard when I'm just sort of like doing this on a few layers and trying to make it look like a little bit of something. But then you could do like a backlight, which would look really cool, like, or just like a reflective light from the sill that she's on. You can do this like a bunch of different ways, but I'll just sort of and that would allow you to like kind of show the wrinkles in her clothing or, you know, stuff like that. Just a thought. I'm doing this like really, really rough, but so that would get you something like this, I think. Famous last words. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I would do. 40 minutes later, that's what I would do. I would do all that I just did in the last 40 minutes. So something like that. Anatomy-wise, we really, you know, changed it up big time. We sort of tightened everything up a little bit. I hope this helped. I'm like sitting here like, oh man, I hope I just didn't like babble all over the place and none of this made a lick of sense, but I think we got it somewhere good. And I hope that helps for future artists. Now I'm wishing I would do more interesting poses and stuff. It actually didn't take me too long to kind of work that all out. My poses tend to be a little flat. I like it. Alright, coolly, so let's thank Anon for this, and I'll render this hour-plus long video and hopefully get it up sometime in the next millennia, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!